Hello everyone, today's my guest name is Kimberly. So, uh, Kimberly, first of all, please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Okay, I'm Kimberly Wiefling. I live in Silicon Valley, California. I always have a rubber chicken with me. I work in facilitating work shock therapy to help turn managers into leaders and turn groups of people into true teams that can do impossible together.
Okay, my first question is, can you share about your background and journey?
Oh, yes. I grew up as a child in Western Pennsylvania in the country, and I just loved science. I wanted to become a scientist. So I worked my way through my life to get some way to go to college. So I actually joined the military so I could get some money for college. I was in the Air Force for 3 years. So that paid for my college. I got a bachelor's degree in chemistry and physics. And then I got a scholarship to get a master's in physics. And I was so excited to study science. And then I worked in the corporate world at Hewlett Packard for 10 years in 7 different engineering jobs. And then, since I was in Silicon Valley by that time, I started to work at startup companies. One, two, three failed startup companies. Boom. But 20 years ago or more, I started my own consulting business, helping people with all kinds of human skills and process skills that I didn't know when I studied only science and technology.
Okay, wonderful. My next My next question is what is the concept behind Wiefling consulting INC and how does it represent your vision?
Well, Weefling Consulting, hey, it's a one person business, but I have collaborators all over the world, and together we call ourselves Silicon Valley Alliances. It just means a whole bunch of people with our own businesses decide to collaborate, to partner up, to do together what we could never do alone. And so, what I mostly focus on is bringing human skills together with process and product and technology understanding. So, like the 3 P's: people, process, project, product. Maybe it's 4 P's. And I mostly work with Japanese companies that are globalizing. So, because they're hiring people from many countries and they're expanding all over the world, and so me and my colleagues help them grow their companies globally, turn managers into leaders, turn groups into real teams. This is so important. It sounds simple, but it's not easy.
Okay, wonderful. My next question is how did you start mentoring and at Founder Institute and how impact have you seen?
Yeah, well, one of my friends said during COVID, "Hey, why don't you mentor some founders in Founder Institute?" I'm like, "Sure," because everything was canceled, no travel. I used to travel every month all over the world for my business. And I have a background in entrepreneurship. I actually started my own business long ago, just a small coaching business, career coaching at the time. It was just a prototype. And I helped several other people start their startup businesses. One of my friends had a piece of gear for horses that prevented a terrible, scratchy illness horses would get. I helped her bring that product to market and launch her small business. And my other friend, he wanted to start his own company, and we started 3 small companies together. 2 failed, but the last one is still in business after over 20 years. And so it's making like $3 million in revenue every year. So I had some experience with working with small companies, startups, and large companies like Hewlett Packard. And I love coaching and supporting people in leadership and teams and organizational culture and other kinds of challenges that are faced by the startup community. So it was so fun. I started a few years ago, and the impact I have seen is that when I talk to the founders, they finally get it. Oh my gosh, human skills matter, leadership matters, team effectiveness matters. It's not all about the products and the market and making billions of dollars and having a huge exit. And so, what I did at Founder Institute was I convinced the Founder Institute to add leadership across the whole 3 month class curriculum for these founders because it was missing. And it's the cause of failure in teams. It's the most common cause of failure to achieve goals in teams. All the stuff that you learn in leadership. It's crazy, right?
Right. My next question is what's the story behind your expertise and project management and execution excellence?
Oh, well, I learned everything the hard way. I was working at Hewlett Packard and I was on projects and I said, "Oh my gosh, every time if we do a project at the end, we have something called lessons learned, like a meeting where you talk about what went wrong in the project." But I noticed that the lessons were always the same. And I was like, why can't we make new and more exciting mistakes? So I wrote this book called Scrappy Project Management, and it ended up getting published in Japanese. I can't read Japanese, but I hope it's good. Uh, and so it was for me about let's stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Let's make new and more exciting mistakes, and let's do some prediction of what might go wrong and then avoid those problems. And so this is what I really started focusing on. And execution with excellence. Well, I mean, once you have your project and you have a plan, then you have to actually do it. Well, that takes discipline. It's a lot of work. So the two things that I bring to project management and execution excellence. One, project management, I do not just start working on stuff. I do this. I stop, think, organize, and plan. Why are we doing this project? Who cares? Who can help us? Who can hurt us? What exactly is success? And what are the measures of that success? And then we make a plan. How will we do it? And all the risk management, why things might go wrong. And once we have a plan, then we start executing and experimenting and prototyping, taking necessary risks, learning from mistakes. And then we have to iterate. Okay, the plan doesn't stay the same. We said, oh, we didn't think of that. We've got to replan. We have to iterate. It's not like just doing it once, right? You have to continually learn and grow and come back over and over. It's hard if you're doing something like launching a satellite into outer space because you can't, launch it and bring it back and do it again very easily. But most projects you can do in some form, some prototype, even low fidelity prototype, and learn from it, and then update your plan, and then execute even better in the next iteration, the next cycle.
Okay, my next question is what are your insight and mantras regarding global leadership?
Oh, well, I like to learn from the experts. And the experts have studied what works in leadership for the last more than 30 years. And what they have found, they published in a book called the Leadership Challenge. And what they found was there are 5 practices of the best leaders in the world, and there are 6 behaviors in each of those. So, total of 30 things, 30 very specific things. If you do these things and you do them more frequently, people will think you're a better leader. I'm going to give you an example right now. If you place your thumb like this, can you do this with me? Place your thumb right here and watch me carefully. Place this thumb on your chin. Your chin. See, this is what everybody does. Now you're putting your thumb on your cheek because I said chin, but I did cheek. And there's also a language problem, right? But a good leader says chin and does chin. A terrible leader says chin but does cheek. You can play this game on your friends, okay? Tell them, watch me carefully, place it on your chin, your chin, your chin. Even Americans, native English speakers, cannot do it properly because they're watching me. And as a leader, this is called model the way. Whatever you do, your people will watch you and they will do it. Sorry, you can't just say one thing and have them do another. So that's one of the big ones. The next one is inspiring a shared vision. I mean, one of the top causes of failure to achieve goals, and like over 80% of the teams in this one study did not achieve their goals. And one of the top reasons was they didn't have shared goals. They didn't have clear goals. They didn't have shared goals. They didn't have individual and team goals aligned. It's crazy, right? It's like going out for a walk and you don't have any destination. So you just walk in a circle. I mean, usually you have some goal, some target, some place you want to go. You don't just start walking around.
Okay, wonderful. And
I
my
mean,
next question
there
is,
are more, but I mean, you got to read the book. There's a whole bunch of great stuff on leadership. Model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable other people to act, and then encourage and support and appreciate and recognize. These things are all well known. They all fit on one page. You get the leadership challenge. You put all the behaviors on one page and hang it in your bathroom or you'll see it every day and then you'll learn it and do it.
wonderful. My next question is, how has your experience been working in Silicon Valley?
Oh my gosh, Silicon Valley. For me, it is amazing. I mean, in this San Francisco Bay Area, which is beyond just the old Silicon Valley, we have over half of us don't speak English at home. It's very global. And over 60% of people here in the Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area, over 60% have a college education, which is almost double the United States in general. And we're so lucky we have super smart, well educated, globally diverse people here. And we have all these universities like Stanford University and UC Berkeley and Santa Clara University. So there's a lot of educational places, professors and researchers and graduate students. And then there's a lot of venture capitalists, angel investors, lots of money. And these people, they're this environment here, it is so perfect for innovation because with everything I just said, we also feel like, hey, take necessary risks. That's okay. It doesn't always have to work out. Oh, 10% chance of success. Let's do it. Make mistakes, experiment, prototype. We don't call it a failure here. We call it a prototype. We have Apple and Facebook and all kinds of amazing places within an easy drive of my house. And you fail forward, you innovate, you create, and it's open innovation environment. You just don't just like keep it hidden for yourself. It's a collaborative environment where there's a sharing of ideas and an exchange of knowledge and information. And that allows the group genius to be much bigger. It's like the wisdom of crowds. So I don't know. I think in a way it's kind of like this innovation infection, and it's spreads throughout the whole San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and there's no cure. I, I mean, literally, when we have people come visiting us, sometimes they say, Kimberly, I'm only in the Silicon Valley for 3 days. Already, my brain is changing. Wow.
Wonderful. My next question is, in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges for startup and entrepreneur?
Well, for me, in my opinion, the challenges I've seen is first of all, they have some cool idea and they love it. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a great business. So they need to go out and validate that. They've got to find potential customers and other key stakeholders. They've got to make sure that what they're doing is the painkiller for some important pain point for their customers. They can't just like bring this cool idea to market. And then they're going to need a team, and so a lot of super smart technical inventors, they might be great at inventing the future, but when it comes to working together with other human beings, hey, I wasn't good at it. It's hard. And then when you choose your co-founders, oh, there's always like interpersonal problems and disagreements, and they don't necessarily match right with the values. There's so many challenges. And of course, you got to get money. Like I was talking to one startup founder today that I've been helping for a couple of years, and she cannot raise enough money to keep the business going. And she doesn't need tons of money. She doesn't need millions of dollars, but she can't even get $100,000, right? And so sometimes you need to be able to get money from somewhere just to get started so that you can get far enough along that the angel investors and the venture capitalists will be like, oh, sure, you've proven this could work. I mean, because investors will take a risk on technology, but they won't take a risk on the market. They want to see some proof that there is a market for what you're doing and somebody will pay money for it. But mostly human skills, human problems, human beings.
Right. My next question is, what do you consider your biggest achievement in your career?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had so much help with this achievement. My biggest achievement was to be able to work with over 50 globalizing Japanese companies. I mean, can you imagine me? I got to work with these big Japanese companies like Mazda and Suntory and Yamaha Motors. And I mean, it was amazing. And I was so lucky because I partnered with people in Japan who could see the value I could bring, and they knew the need in the market. And so they connected us. And for me, I learned so much. I was, of course, helping them learn. I was doing workshops for them, but I learned so much by working with these companies, these people, these teams, and my colleagues that I ended up partnering with. It was a huge achievement, and it wasn't my work, it was teamwork. And I'm so grateful to the people that made that possible for me.
Wonderful. My next question is, how have you redefined project leadership throughout your professional journey?
You know, when I first started working on projects, I really didn't call it project leadership. I called it project management. You know, I mean, even my book is called Scrappy Project Management. But then I learned that human beings do not like to be managed. You can manage the schedule, you can manage the budget, but don't manage the people. So I have redefined what I do, as leading projects, project leadership, leading teams, manage the budget, manage the schedule, manage the execution, but lead the people, lead the teams. And that includes being the kind of leader that people willingly follow, that people admire. And it's very well documented what kind of leaders people admire and willingly follow. That's also from the same research of the guys who did the leadership challenge, Barry Posner, Jim Kouzes. You have to be honest. You have to be, number one, honest. You have to be forward looking. What's the future? And you have to be, yeah, okay, competent, but honest, forward looking, and inspiring are more important than being competent when you are leading a project or any team for that matter. So I have redefined my whole understanding to be leadership instead of management.
Wonderful. My next question is how have your mentor influenced your career and what impact have they had?
Oh, I always had a mentor through most of my career. They helped me learn all these things I didn't learn when I was studying technology, so I had to learn about politics and humans and negotiation and how to interact with other people. And then I had this amazing mentor. He was 30 years older than me. He was like in his 80s, and he was an expert in organizational culture. And I had lunch with him every month for like 3 years. And he just died last year. But he helped me understand. And another mentor helped me understand that everything I was doing was related to organizational culture. I thought I was leading teams, managing projects. They said, no, 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 Kimberly, you are creating an organizational culture. You are shaping it. And so I started to shift my attention in the direction of the organization's culture. And then I wrote this little book called Inspired Organizational Cultures. It's just a workbook that helps people understand what is this weird thing called organization's culture and how can we make it visible and shape it in a positive, productive way that supports the business. So yeah, now I'm on the organizational culture side of things when I started off in physics. Thanks to my mentors, Dr. Edgar Schein and others.
Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly Wiefling, for your enlightening insight and expertise shared with us today on Fiverr Prints. Your journey, leadership, and commitment to excellence serve us a beacon of inspiration for aspiring leaders and entrepreneurs alike. We wish to continue success in your endeavors, and we look forward to seeing the positive impact you will continue to make in the world. Stay tuned to Fiverr Prints for more captivating interviews with trailblazer like Kimberly. Until next time, this is Ayan Fiverrwala.
Thank you so much, Ayan. I appreciate it. Keep expanding, keep growing.
Thank you.